Hello, Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners, here with Slavy Jordanov and Mike Stanley, who I just call Stanley. And it's weird when people call him Mike. And we're also joined by Luke Hernandez of P&P Painting.
Luke! Yeah!
Happy to be here.
So, Luke, you've always got stuff going on. What's going on now?
Yeah, so we just finished up one of our commercial strip mall, 5600 Cleveland Avenue. We have
cool.
a big custom residential new build out of Buckeye Lake running, and we have some residential jobs stacked up right now. So me personally as the owner and the seller, I'm just trying to stack jobs and keep my crews motivated and making sure everything flows efficiently and how it should be. So
Heck yes, I like that. Commercial work is great, though. I know you said you have that strip mall. That's huge. And a lot of people, that's something they don't think about when they're starting a business or they're finding a space, is when they're setting things up, having it painted professionally makes a huge difference for the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, paint is supposed to make things look nice. And this is one of the big gaps I found in the industry thus far. I think about 14, 15 months in, is a lot of contractors, they like to, I guess, minimize the painting overhead, you could say, and it causes issues long term. I've heard some guys are in the big commercial scene. They're having buildings painted for 2-3 years, and within 2-3 years they have to repaint them already. So when I try to work with my clients, I try to explain a standard package, which you might find from 9 out of the 10 contractors, and then that one contractor, me, I'm going to offer you a longer term solution. So what's out there, know that I'm going to offer you something that's priced like the rest of the contractors, or we can go up 10%, have it last twice as long. So.
Yeah, and I've had people learn that lesson the hard way, too. So I've had people who have, were getting their listing prepared to sell and then went with the wrong painter because of price.
Oof,
and
I've
then
seen
they
them.
called and told me they would never do that again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple big things. I mean, one with the residential exterior, or any exterior, we live in Ohio. I mean, it snows outside. There's ice. There's freezing and contracting.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, right. So I mean, with the exteriors, I try to always push my clients towards the longer term solution. But unfortunately, with this industry, they'll have 5 or 6 guys come 10% cheaper, but it lasts half the time. So with the exteriors, I try to explain that to all my clients. I mean, it's the industry. It's all about who's the cheapest, right? And unfortunately, so like you said, your clients found that out. It's interesting with I work with realtors like yourself.
Drips everywhere in there.
Yeah. It's my number one crew, when we started working with a lot of realtors and doing the quick flips and whatnot, I said that there's one rule, right? Well, there's rules, but the main rule is do not get paint on the floor. Every painting crew they work with before that gets paint on the floor, and it's a mess. So my number one rule when we work in interior is no paint on the floor, and it's really simple how to prevent that. It just takes a contractor like myself, just pinpointing a few things. Hey, do this differently, do that differently. Use drop cloths, use paper tape, etc.
So on the exteriors, when you paint the exteriors, can you also replace the boards?
We can. Yeah, we have crews that do that, so we can definitely do minor wood repair if it's something major. A roofer in town, I talk to him a couple times a day. We send referrals to each other. He's a fantastic individual. Another guy around my age, so our name is truly on the line every time we do business with someone. So I can refer him. Like I said, we talk a couple times a day. So over these past, what's it been, 6 months since I've been on the podcast? My circle constituency has grown significantly. So I know the people and I know the good guys. So
yeah, because I will probably not do my exterior this year, but next year. And I have some boards that are kind of shifting.
Questionable.
Yeah, and fucking woodpeckers.
Well, that's the
Excuse
thing.
my French.
I know the woodpeckers are the worst. But that's the good thing about having it done right and having it done more long term and to last is on the exterior, you're going to have those windowsills or soffits or places where they are going to start to rot if they're not maintained properly, if they're not painted properly. And if you're doing a short-term solution, guess what? You're going to be looking at it next year or a couple of years down the road, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't really want to deal with that. Oh, now the wood's gone bad, and it becomes a bigger issue. So that's why the long-term solution is the best thing to do, especially on the exterior.
Yeah, I think it comes down to this. I mean, I picked this industry because I studied in grad school when I was getting my MBA. It's really simple, right? It's a low barrier industry. A lot of people can paint. But if you're going to coat one of your most valuable assets, your home, don't you think it would make sense to spend 10% more? Because what happens is we'll have someone come out. Well, I'll go out and provide a quote. We'll offer 2 quotes, and the bottom quote always beats out because I know how guys are quoting their jobs. It's not the most complex industry out there. But again, again, talking to these clients, they say, well, this person's $500 cheaper on a $8,000 quote. Right. Whatever that percentage breaks down to, would you pay that much more to have guys that are professional come out, or do you want a bunch of random people coming out that are making $10 an hour coding one of your most valuable assets? It just doesn't make sense. So when you work with me and you work with my crews, we're all dialed in together. I really try to explain to you what you're getting and really try to push you towards that long-term solution, because 1 out of 3 houses are nightmares because they got it painted 10 years ago and the paint lasted for 5 years. Now we have wood falling off the house, and that's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Right. Versus just going with a longer term solution, which I know there's not a lot of painting companies like myself out there who offer these a variety of packages, but I guess that's why you call me. So if you're gonna stay at the house for a while, I'll shoot it to you straight. So, and
it's unbelievable. That's only That's 6%. $500 out of 8,000 is like 6%. It's not $500 is $500, but when it comes down to the quality of work, the longevity of it, and the fact that it's going to reduce damage in the long run as well, it just makes sense. And it's hard to educate people on that.
A lot of the times what I found is when the price, it's 15 to 20% materials and the rest is labor. So you need a contractor picking the right materials. They can match up the type of paint with the substrate, make sure it's going to adhere properly. And then you got to have guys that know what they're doing. And what I've found contractors do is when the ones that really price gouge, they find guys that don't really know what they're doing. They don't really understand, I guess, the monetary value of the U.S. dollar, and they just. I've seen some crews. They grab guys from a random store in the morning and they send them to a house and they say go, right, and they don't. And it's unfortunate. I've talked to guys at Sherwin. They don't know how much they're getting paid. They just say yes because they're here and they don't speak English. And they throw paint around. They do the one coat wonders. Those are always my favorites. It's amazing how many painting companies only do one coat. It's crazy. They're making some products where you can get away with it now. So yeah, it's when working with a painting company, you have to be really, really careful. Because I'm telling you guys, if you coat your house with a poor product, and the crew did a poor job, they didn't professionally prepare it, it's going to be a nightmare. And we're talking
inside or outside.
Outside.
I'm saying inside or outside. It can be a nightmare either way. It doesn't just have to be the outside. The inside can also be bad because of the poor quality, the poor job they're doing.
Yeah, my interiors. I had this conversation yesterday. He's like, "Can you do it in one day?" I said, "Probably, but if we have to come back for an extra half day, we're going to come back." I said, "Interior is truly an art form. You could you're right on top of it, right? It's not 30. It's not your trim 30 feet in the air. So with interior, I tell people all the time, you want to spend money on interior. You really want to spend money on interior. Then residential exterior, you guys aren't getting paid as much. But that's when I think the contractor comes in place with the right, looking at the substrates, looking at the products, and again having some responsible guys in charge, because when you get a can of paint dropping from the top ropes 30 feet up on your driveway. So.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
So what else do you have going on?
Due to the weather, a lot of our bigger jobs got pushed, towards together these past 2 weeks. So, like I said, I did the walk around with 5600 Cleveland Avenue about 2 hours ago. The owner was happy about it. So we actually have a drone video coming up. I'm actually starting to incorporate drone videos, which is on to my next big project that I've been working on for a few months. Is actually Columbus Title Agency. They're going to power wash it in the next hour. I'm actually going to leave from here to there to get them all set up. And we're gonna have a drone above that too.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm using a guy in our BNI right now.
Yeah, I think he was saying that he was doing some drone footage for you.
Yeah, but
Bryce.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
The first video is great. So I sent it to the one girl who does all my social media, and she's gonna put the music and stuff because I can't do that. I'll have a migraine.
No, that's what you pay someone to do.
Yeah, but one of my big ideas is
that way she gets the headache.
We're gonna some of these big residential exteriors. We're gonna start droning all of them and hand them back to the client. So that's something I really want to incorporate. That's something I haven't seen other painting companies do. And the videos are sweet. They're freaking sweet. So, but yeah, just trying to paint all of Columbus.
We might have to cut some footage in of the drone video on this, Abby. I'm just saying.
That'd be cool.
Luke might have to send some of that over. We might have to get a little bit of that action in there.
Yeah. So yeah, just busy, just trying to grow, and I've kind of, I haven't officially decided. Right, I'm 25 years old, but with these scaled companies and these residential home services, when you scale, quality typically goes down. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I want to scale this company and start hiring a bunch of employees and whatnot, because quality is going to go down, right? So as of now, and the people that watch this, when you work with me, it's me and the 30 the 30 people I have with these crews, with the bosses above them and whatnot. So I'm thinking of really keeping this painting company especially more customizable, like I've been doing, and not scaling it to million, because these companies, you can scale them to a couple $1 million relatively fast. I mean, I've read, I remember an MBA, so I know how, the path to do that. But it gets messy, and I've seen what happens when these companies blow up fast.
Right,
and I don't want to do that. And you guys know how I market
fast,
it.
yeah.
All my marketing is knowing you guys.
Yeah.
Different chambers, different events and whatnot. So again, when you work with me, when you work with PMP Painting, you're really working with me. So I don't want to take a risk and blow up too much and then start doing poor work. And
right.
It's the slow burn. It's building the relationships. It's building the reputation. Yeah. It's getting those referrals, and it's slowly building it up to when you scale, you have that reputation. You know how to scale to keep the quality there. Because if you do it too quick, too fast, like you said, you start to lose
problems.
Yeah. So
that's awesome, though. That's great.
Yeah.
So go right ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to switch the subject up. So if you're going to talk painting, you go right ahead.
No, you go right ahead.
Well, so you said that this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, you got to go to Indy for the race, and so that's a little tradition for you now, huh?
It is. Yeah, my dad. Oh my God, they're gonna go crazy when they watch this part of the video. So my dad and his buddies have been going for over 30 years. One guy. Uncle Tom, I'm gonna give him a shout out, but it was his 50th year this year.
Very cool.
So they're all in good shape.
I'm catching. I've been to 24 races, so
24.
I got to catch up.
Okay, it was 6 for me this past one.
Very cool. My first one, I remember I had a group of Australian guys behind me just crushing beers, and I was like 6 years old, and one of them just dumped completely on me.
Yeah.
And I remember it forever. It was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah.
I've not gone to the Indy 500, but we used to go to Mid-Ohio all the time. And we've been to the 24 Hours of Sebring. And we flew down with Bobby Rahal, and my super shy husband just walked up to Bobby and started chatting with him.
I was going to say, we have so many racers and teams and from the Central Ohio area here. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, now Rahals are from Indianapolis. So.
I know.
But my husband was a huge Danica fan, so he loved Danica. And Weldon, so we were watching when Weldon actually died and stuff. So
I was at that race.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. So and there's still a few of them that are racing that we watch. But I grew up on drag racing, so.
Okay, cool.
So drag racing's fun.
30 and 50 years, and you're 6. Are you hoping to get up to that 50 eventually?
Yeah, no, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, the Indy weekend's my Christmas. It is my Christmas every year, so I can't. I mean, I'm not. There's a few jokes regarding you don't miss unless there's a close family death. Or, it is a requirement every year to go to the Indy 500. So and I definitely want to keep going with it. And as my dad and his friends slowly get older, they're in their 60s and whatnot, I will be repopulating with my people for sure. No questions asked. So
nice.
I plan on having a big PMP painting van.
That would be sweet.
Trackside, right?
Carrying the tires out.
Yeah. So I do plan on going every year. It's my favorite thing to do every year. So
very cool, though.
Very cool. And you had a little rain delay this year for people who aren't racing fans. So race is normally over around
what was it, like 8 hours?
2:30, 3 o'clock, sometimes 3:30 if it's a slow race, a lot of wrecks. It didn't start till 4.
Yeah, I thought it was like an 8-hour delay or something crazy.
Yeah, it ended at just after 8. So it was rough. It was rough.
Not ideal.
No.
Not ideal, but hey, that's at least it didn't get pushed to the next day. I've been there before where it's like they get the jet engines out to start drying the track, and then it starts raining again, and they're like, "We're gonna have to push to Monday," and that's brutal. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
IndyCar has always been more fun to me because, for one, it's a higher risk, right? Because they're in those open wheel cars and stuff. NASCAR is just boring. They just go around and around and around and around. It's like, okay, if I want to go to sleep, you watch NASCAR, right? So Indy, when they do the road courses and stuff, are pretty cool because you never know what's going to happen. And that's why I liked Mid-Ohio, because it was the weavy course.
The road
and
course
stuff.
in Mid-Ohio is
So,
pretty
yeah.
sweet.
So, just a lot of fun to watch IndyCar. Sometimes it's really hot, though.
So, are we going to see this on the side of an IndyCar someday?
There you
That
go.
would be sick.
That would
be sick.
I might have to scale and hire a few employees, like I said. I don't
Yeah.
know if I want that, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think that would look really good on a
That
car.
would be
Actually,
cool.
that color,
Like blue?
Yep,
that
color.
would look
so.
really cool.
Yep, that color would be cool on a car.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, residential-wise, interiors. I know last time we had you on, we talked about leveling, and that's a huge thing. Leveling the walls, making sure they're sanded properly. You had machinery you were using to help level. Are you still using that machinery?
Yeah, we do. I'm not afraid to reinvest and use good equipment that my crew can rent from me. So that we still use some of the higher end festivals and whatnot. And a lot of guys. I mentioned earlier it's 15 to 20% material and the rest is labor. And what I realized, if you empower your people, the 80% of the job, the labor goes a hell of a lot faster and more efficiently. So that's what I do. Again, it's not super complex, but I go in the you hear stuff around the paint store, you talk to guys, and I talk to some of my, Sherwin people, and they go, we try to tell these guys, but they just don't listen. Yeah. It's just like, it's, extra, these guys make a lot of money, especially the guys that are, working, they're busy, the sole proprietors, they make a lot of money, and they just don't understand, if you use the only thing that's going to speed you up is better equipment and better training. So I do, incorporate, higher end equipment into my process.
That's huge.
So.
That's huge. Makes a prettier product in the end too.
Yep.
And higher quality and lasts longer, more durable.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
So, Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you for commercial or residential painting, how would they do that?
Yeah, so just call me at 740-683-5560. And then look at my Instagram. That's where our portfolio is. It's growing every single day. I literally wake up and that's the first thing on my mind is how to get the Instagram growing and moving. And like I said, we're incorporating drone footage on some of these bigger, exterior jobs we're doing. And here in probably the next month, 5 or 6 weeks, the Buckeye Lake footage will come out.
Very cool.
Which I mentioned last time. It's it's an astronomical job. Some of the older guys on the site, they're saying this is a once in a lifetime job. I mean, it is top of the line. Custom residential new build. So
I can't wait to see that one.
It's gonna be crazy.
You gotta share that with us too.
What's your Instagram?
It's just PMP Painting. You'll see my logo.
Very cool. Slide into his DMs.
Yeah, right.
Which still sounds creepy to me.
Oh,
yes,
man.
the terminology I've had to learn. It just seems a little creepy that you slide into someone's DM. But anyhow, I don't know. But anyhow, thanks for watching. And, what do I say at the end?
Oh, my gosh. You are the worst. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for Shannon Grimm Realtor and 614 Real Estate Nerds.
Thank you.